All right. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening for the final countdown to this amazing opportunity. Welcome everybody. Welcome. We see a lot of people trickling in. Welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. Again, this is the final countdown to Growth Parkview. So welcome wherever you're joining us from. As you can see, we have welcome in all the languages. So yep. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started. It is 7:04. So we'll go ahead and get started. Addy, just quick question. Why does my presentation keep going off and I'm seeing my face? Can I just be seeing my presentation?
I made it sticky, so it should be fine now.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's it.
All right. Yeah, I'm tired of seeing my own face. I want to see the notes of what I'm presenting. So everybody, thank you for your attention. And as you can see, I'm not that tech savvy. Thank God we have Addy to take care of this for us. Um, so today is the final countdown to this amazing, fantastic opportunity that we've been talking about for months now, as we lead up to the beginning of 2025. And we're talking about Growth Parkview, a real estate opportunity that helps you generate $15,500 to $18,000 in passive income annually on a $100,000 investment. This is 100% passive investment, whereas busy professional, you get to put your money to work for you and earn great passive income. And when we did some of these estimates, a lot has changed since we did our underwriting in a very, very good way. A lot has changed over the months in a very, very good way. Like I was having a conversation with Tenny and some other partners the other day, and we were like, we someday we're going to look back at this delay and call it the divine delay, because of all the amazing things that have happened in between when the time we got this property under contract and now that we're getting ready to close in a few weeks. So again, this is your opportunity, the one of the final opportunities to join this great ownership group that will get you to earn anywhere from $15,000, 500 a month on a $100,000 investment. So before I get too excited and get in deep, again, disclaimer: this information, feel free to check with your financial advisors, your lawyers, or whoever you consult before you make any financial decisions before you invest. Don't take my word for it. Everything I tell you is online. It's verifiable. So do your own verifications before you invest. So every time I do this presentation and I get to this slide, I remember where I was about 9 years ago, early on in my CRNA career, where I was working extremely hard, spending a lot of time in the hospital. At the same time, that was around the time when my second daughter was born. And after about 2 years of working and just grinding and putting in the hours, I came home one day and I sat back and I saw my daughter. She was doing all these things, like attempting to talk, walking, and doing all these things. And it finally hit me that I had missed out on a good portion of my daughter's life, because I was so excited, working 60, 70 hours a week, making all the overtime. I had missed out on like the good part of my daughter's life. And I kept asking myself, to earn the income that I want, is this what I need to keep doing for the rest of my life? That just didn't sit right with me. And I believe I'm not the only one that goes through this, right? A lot of us are busy working professionals. This at some point in our career, this thought sneaks in. Well, at least for most of the busy professionals that I've had the opportunity to interact with over the last 6 years since we started Excite Capital, we are on this constant circle of working hard, grinding. We work, we spend the money we earn in paying bills, saving to invest, like we thought, invest in the stock market. In that constant circle, it's like it never ends. That's what we've been taught. But what we don't realize, a lot of us, like professionals, high income earning professionals, is like we are some of the smartest, hardest working people out there. And we have all these opportunities that surround us, but unfortunately, the education that has been given to us does not give us access to these opportunities. And that is the premise on which Excite Capital was founded, to be able to share, give access to other busy professionals to some of these opportunities, some of this knowledge that helps you expand your horizon and gives you access to great opportunities where you could leverage your 9 to 5 job to create true wealth, to create passive income, where you could leverage we say like your biggest investor now is your employer. Your 9 to 5 job is like your greatest leverage point that you could, when used properly, you could position yourself to gain true financial freedom. And that is what we're passionate here in the Excite community. That is what we're passionate here at Excite Capital Investments, helping other busy professionals leverage your 9 to 5 job to invest and to create wealth. But I'm sure you've heard this statement before. It's very common. We hear it a lot, but now it's not a good time to invest. Let me sit back and wait. Let me wait till the market changes. Let me wait till interest rates drop before I invest. But this is the same story we keep hearing all the time. Is now the good time to invest? Now let me give you guys a good example. In 2008, when the real estate market crashed and houses were cheap, everything was cheap, even the stock market crashed because of that. you know there was a lot of fear in the market, so much fear. I remember very well, back in 2008, I was a nurse working at Johns Hopkins hospital downtown Baltimore in the medical ICU. I was working a night shift when all of this was happening. I'm driving to work on 295. I remember very vividly. I'm having a conversation with my very good friend Kevin, who works for the WHO right now. We're talking about this market crashing, everything that's happening in the stock market. And I remember at that time, Bank of America stocks was selling for like $7 per share. And they were encouraging the employees to buy. And Kevin and I were talking. It's like, we should buy this, but we were so scared. We were so scared about what was going on. We never bought, right? So forward a few years later, now that I'm getting all this financial education and meeting some of these institutional investors and learning how these markets work, you're learning that in that same period of time, while everybody else was caught up with fear, everybody else was scared and said things are going bad, now it's not a good time to invest, the institutional investors swooped in. Institutional investors like Blackstone, Garden acquired $12.5 billion of assets. Those are assets that they exited 6 years ago and made billions of dollars. They spent $12.5 billion, but made almost $20 billion when they exited those assets. So it's a common trend that we see, that in news cycles you see negativity, a lot of negative news going around, and at that same period of time, that's when the institutions come in and start swooping and buying all these assets. And we're seeing the same thing happening right now. This has been happening over the last 6 months, when most of us were distracted by the elections and everything that was going on, being like a blue Republican, Democrat, and fighting each other over that. These institutional investors were swooping in and acquiring multifamily assets at discounts, at significant discounts. As a matter of fact, Blackstone has spent over $15 billion over the last year acquiring multifamily assets, and a lot of these assets are in the Atlanta market. But it's the same thing here. You see it; they have $250 billion in capital on the sidelines that they raise, waiting for this moment to go in and start buying these assets. You know, and on top of that, while all of this is happening, the Federal Reserve has started cutting down interest rates, which usually bodes well for commercial real estate investing. And the interest rates, once the interest rate cut starts, we start seeing like changes in the commercial real estate market, like increase in values about 12 to 18 months later. So we're sitting in a unique window of opportunity that presents us, that gives us the opportunity to acquire strong assets in great markets at a discount, you know, and while the market is adjusting and changing, and we've missed out on a lot of these opportunities in the past, but this time is different. Excite Capital was created because we understood, we learned the game, we got exposed to the game. We have broken into the networks, created great relationships with top players in the industry. This time is different because this time we have access, and we are bringing that access to members of our community. This time, busy professionals like you and I are also going to own these institutional assets. The Blackstones of the world are not going to be the only ones who get to benefit from this. We too will get a piece of the pie. You know, we here at Excite Capital, we are on a mission. We are on a mission to empower you, fellow busy professionals, with this ability to create wealth for yourself, just like the big institutions do. With us, you break free of the middleman. You get direct access to institutional grade assets. One of the things that we realized with Growth Parkview as we started, as we acquired Growth Parkview and started raising capital for this, we got approached by a ton of institutional investors and other family offices and wealth managers. And a lot of these guys are the people, we realize that a lot of these guys are the people that as professionals we go to manage our wealth, and or we invest in their ETFs or their or whatever products that they have, and they take those investments and come back to owners like us that are buying these complexes and invest your capital. And the kind of terms they were requesting for us to get into these deals, very aggressive terms. But when they get those terms, they come back to you and they give you they take 20% return and you get back 10-12%, and you're very happy. But this time things are different. We're changing it. We're giving our busy professionals direct access into these assets. And it's not just about creating wealth, it's about building that education. That education that you could take and pass down to your kids, because once you invest in these assets, you see the returns. You see how you could make double-digit returns over a period of time. This is knowledge that you pass down to your kids, and your kids take this knowledge and continue to invest and grow. That is what we call true generational wealth. It's not even about the money, it's about the knowledge. So like I mentioned, we're in a real story right now where you're seeing interest rates are starting to come down. The geopolitical tensions are easing. As of yesterday, I read Hamas and Israel, for example, are signing a peace treaty to stop the war. We're hearing some meddlings about some kind of negotiation probably happening between Russia and Ukraine over the next few months. So when these global tensions ease, what we typically see is a massive rush of capital into the US real estate market, and we anticipate that happening in the next few years. So all this good news means one thing: the next few years are going to see a significant inflow of capital into the real estate market. With interest rates coming down, a lot more interest in the real estate market from like foreign investors, we are going to see a change in valuation, which is going to reverse the decline that we've seen over the last 2 years. The last 2 years, we've seen a historic decline in commercial real estate prices, with some assets selling even 25 to 35% discount. As a matter of fact, this opportunity that we're getting ready to present to you was appraised in April of 2022 for $60.7 million. Let me repeat that. Grove Parkview, the asset that we're presenting to you, was appraised in April of 2022 for $60.7 million. And we are buying it today for $49.1 million. That, my fellow colleagues, is the opportunity that we have with this asset. And this asset puts us on track to achieve our mission, which is to create passive income for busy professionals, change lives, and create generational wealth. And like I mentioned, generational wealth is truly about the knowledge. So if you are joining our presentation for the first time and you do not understand what we're talking about, you just see me getting excited and you're excited too, and you don't really understand what we're investing in. So this slide is where I really break it down for you. So what we do is we invest in real estate, multifamily real estate, that is multiple units in one dwelling. And we focus on apartment complexes that have 100 plus units in one dwelling. And we do these investments through a model called a syndication. A syndication is just a fancy word for a group of people coming together and going to buy an investment property. You could think of it as like, instead of you owning a small boat like a canoe that Tenny used to use in Bonny Island when he was over there, you actually put your money together with a bunch of friends and you go buy a luxury yacht and you own a piece of that yacht, right? So it's like where we pool our resources together to buy these big buildings. And when we came across this strategy, we went across to like multiple conferences, realizing that there were very limited numbers of us minority professionals that even knew this existed. That's why we decided to create Excite Capital, so we could offer these opportunities to members of our professional community, and so they could create passive income as well in a tax advantage manner. And when I talk about passive income, this is a clear example, and we have multitudes of other investors that are examples like this. As a matter of fact, on this particular property, we have about 65 busy professionals that are investors in this property and getting these similar returns. When you invest in our deal, you get access to a secure portal. And this is a picture of the portal, which shows the distributions that you get. This is one of our investors. He's a doctor at Bayview I used to work at. As you can see, his quarterly distributions are about $1,700. Now, this is just one piece of the returns. Right. This is somebody that invested $100,000, and every quarter they get $1,700, and they still own a piece of this asset that continues to appreciate. As a matter of fact, this asset on our last BOV has appreciated by about $6 million already. And even this is with the markets being 25% discounted right now. So you can imagine the amount of wealth that he's going to create when we exit this asset. This is one asset that is going to do great. This is one asset that is a good example to compare to Grove Parkview, which we're presenting to you today. So I think I got a little snippets about myself, but I did not get a chance to fully introduce myself. My name is Leslie Awasom. I am one of the co-founders of Excite Capital, and also the chief operating officer or director of operations. And the two amazing gentlemen that you see on my left and my right are fantastic CEO and orthopedic surgeon extraordinaire, Dr. Julius Oni, and our chief growth officer and head of acquisitions, on the other side, Mr. Tenacious Tenny Tolofari. It's with these two gentlemen that we saw this opportunity and decided to create this platform to offer institutional grade assets to members of our professional community. And this journey started on February 2nd, 2019. Since then, we've acquired 6 assets, and we've actually gone full cycle on one of those assets and sold, where we did our business plan and exited. And we still hold on to 5 right now where we're implementing our business plan. And Grove Parkview is going to be our 7th acquisition. That's a total acquisition to date of $168 million. After Grove Parkview, will be at about $217 million, I believe. So those numbers might seem impressive, but the number that I'm most proud of, that we here at Excite Capital, we are most proud of, is the number here at the bottom. In that same period of time, we've distributed back to our investors a total of $7.769 million. That is $7.769 million that has gone back to our busy professionals. That is in the form of cash flow, passive income on a quarterly basis, and appreciation at the end when we exited the deal. Now, earlier a few weeks ago, we had our quarterly meeting, and our CEO re-emphasized our goal. Prior to the meeting, we met as partners, and our CEO re-emphasized our goal, which is to get this number to $100 million. We are not yet 10% there. We are about 8% there. But Grove Parkview is going to get us closer to that $100 million in distribution after we close. So we're getting there. There's still a lot of work to be done. And the only way we get there is by working with you, our partners, and our investors. So let's get into the asset. Let's get into details about this opportunity. Grove Parkview is a 268-unit building built in 1989, located in Gwinnett County in Georgia. I want you guys to pay close attention to this number. 96% occupancy. That is its current occupancy as of today. And over the last 10 years, the occupancy at Grove Parkview has averaged 95%. That is 95% occupied on average over a 10 years period of time. That's unheard of in our space. In the multifamily space, the average occupancy in the whole United States is about 89 to 90%. When our buildings, the buildings that we currently manage, are occupied at 95%, the terminology is like the rents are too low. You need to increase the rent because we want the occupancy to stay around 92, 93%. That's a great average. But for a property that has stayed at 95% occupancy over the last 10 years, and in that same period of time, rents have been growing, that means there must be something special about this property. And you guys are going to find out what that special sauce is. This slide introduces I'm sorry, I get too excited. This slide introduces you to what that special sauce consists of. Grove Parkview is located in one of the best school districts in the whole state of Georgia. It is zoned to Parkview High School. Parkview High School was rated the #1 school in STEM in 2024. Now, there are only 2 apartment complexes zoned to Parkview High School. The other one that is zoned to Parkview High School, the district at Parkview, it's a newer construction with the rents at $400-500 higher than what we charge at Grove Parkview. And there are no new multifamily assets that are zoned to be built in this area for the next 6 years. So that is the reason why the demand on this property has stayed so high, because people want their kids to go to good schools, and the people that cannot afford homes, because homes in Gwinnett counties keep going up, will stay at this apartment complex for 3, 4, 5, 6 years so their kids can have access to this top line education and get the chance to maybe get scholarships or go to better schools. And if you have kids, you know the importance of good schools, right? We all do that. When you're trying to buy a house, that's what you look for, the school district. So on top of that, we're going to be doing a value add on this property where we're going to be renovating about 105 of the units to be able to upgrade it from 1989 to 2025. Property has strong rent growth over the last 5 years. Rent growth has been about 23% since 2020. And on top of that, one of the most exciting highlights about this property that I personally like is the team on site that we are inheriting. We are inheriting a team that has a total of 75 years of experience on this property. This is like a combined experience. The property manager has been on the property for 25 years. The maintenance person has been on the property for 20 years. So one of the best things about any business that you acquire is the team that you're going to inherit. We're inheriting a solid team in place, and I cannot wait to take over this property, take over this team, and continue to manage it. And our value add plan, which is a plan that is currently already being implemented on the property. So we are not going in to do something that is speculative. The current owner has started renovating some of these units, and the renovation premiums that we are projecting in our underwriting is what the current owner is getting. And with those renovation premiums, because these assets are valued by the income that they produce, we will be creating over $19 million of value over the next 5 years on this asset. In addition to that, we're going to be doing an exterior upgrade. We're going to be upgrading a lot of the pieces of the exterior, including the playground, upgrading the car wash station, and all of this just to augment the outer look and feel of this asset, because you want to live in an area that is nice and beautiful as well. And we're also allocating about $400,000 for roof replacements, which we know are going to be needed at some point in our business plan. So this business plan that we have on Grove Parkview is not something that is new. We have implemented this same business plan on our other asset, the View at St. Andrews, which we went full cycle on. On that asset, we projected 18% average annual return, but our investors ended up with 29.97% average annual return. We projected to hold that asset for 5 years, ended up holding the asset for 21 months. So this is just to tell you that the way we project, when we project returns on this asset, we are being super, super conservative, because like the famous philosopher Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. So the way we look at this property and underwrite this property, we expect unexpected to happen. So we are extremely conservative in our returns. If you're coming into this deal, expect your returns to be at 15.5 to 18% average on our returns. But With everything that we're seeing right now in that market, I have no doubt that we're going to outpace those returns. So, but even if we don't, 15.5 to 18% is still a great return for you. So, and one of the reasons why I truly believe that is because of this table. Multifamily assets are valued according to the income they generate and the market cap rate. The formula is and net operating income, that is the income generated after expenses, divided by the market cap rate. The market cap rate is a figure that we don't have any control over. It is determined by market forces such as interest rates, the general economy, demand and supply. But here's what is happening. Here's the interesting thing that's happening. One of the biggest data sources in the whole country when it comes to commercial real estate, the gold standard for commercial real estate data, is projecting that when we go to exit this property, the market cap rate will be 4.6%. We are basing our projections on a 5.3% market cap rate, which is the cap rate today. So we're basing our projections on the fact that we have no control over cap rates. What we have control over is the income. So it doesn't matter what happens to the market, the income speaks for itself. So if Costa is right, and Costa has been right so many times, your returns on this property will not be 15% average annual return, but will be something close to 20, 23, or maybe even 27% average annual return. That is your $100,000 generating $27,000 for you passively while you maintain your job, while you in the OR doing surgery. That is like you creating a full-time McDonald's employee for yourself. So, and here's the reason why CoStar believes that's going to happen. Sub-market fundamentals, rent growth. We talked about the continuous rent growth that has been in this area. Strong job growth. Like I was saying, I was talking about the divine delay earlier. In this period that we've held this deal under contract, President Biden has announced a $6.6 billion loan to Rivian to build a manufacturing plant 35 miles away from this property, which is projected to bring about 8,000 direct jobs and thousands more of indirect jobs. Now, Stone Mountain, where this property is located, is like the last bastion that connects to Atlanta within 20, 30 minutes. And that still has about 30 to 40 minutes access to where Rivian is going to be building this plant. So this property sits in an area that is positioned to benefit significantly from that $6.6 billion investment that Rivian is making in Georgia. Just last week, Amazon announced an $11.4 billion investment to build like AI or data centers in Georgia, in Douglas County, which is like an hour away from where this property sits. And this is some of the reasons why we decided to go into Georgia as one of our markets to focus in on. This is just the beginning, guys. You're going to hear it more in the next few months, next few years about the projects that are coming into this market. Like the development plan for Atlanta over the next 10 to 20 years. It is fantastic. I had the privilege of being at a conference with one of the founders, one of the owners of Chick-fil-A. I think he's the CEO of Chick-fil-A, who is like a big Georgia guy and a big Atlanta guy. And he was talking about all these development projects that are coming to Atlanta. So this area is meant to continue to grow. And if you know anything about multifamily assets, job growth, population growth means income, rent growth, appreciation, and massive, massive wealth for you, our passive investors. No doubt, Blackstone is going in and buying in all these assets. So, Growth Parkview by itself, regardless of everything that's going on in the market, whether any of that happens or not, Growth Parkview has a very, very strong fundamental. You're talking about demand and supply imbalance. Look at the occupancy. Compare that to the rest of the Atlanta area. Atlanta has maintained a 91% occupancy on average in that same period of time. Gwinnett County, which is one of the best counties in the state of Georgia, where Grove Parkview sits, has maintained a 93% average occupancy. But Grove Parkview has been at 95% occupancy over the last 10 years. I talked about Rivian. They're building their $6.5 billion manufacturing plant in Social Circle, which is 35 miles away from Stone Mountain. AWS, $11 billion in Georgia to boost AI infrastructure and development. This is all investments that is going to affect the general economy in this area as well. And you can imagine all of this happened after we've secured this asset under contract. We never made any of our projections with any of this in mind, right? So we went in buying this asset with very, very conservative number, taking advantage of the drops in valuation in the market to secure an institutional grade asset at a very, very, very good basis. So here's what the projected returns look like. And I've mentioned this already. Your $100,000 investment earns you $15,500 to $18,000 annually while you focus on your career. This is 100% passive, so you don't have to do any work. You don't have to worry about tenants, termites, or toilets. We got that for you. We take all the risk so that you enjoy the benefit. On top of that, tax savings. We are currently estimating that $100,000 would give you $27,000 in depreciation loss year one. That is the minimum that you're going to get on your $100,000 investment. But there are already rumors about the Trump tax law getting extended and being even retroactively extended. What that means for you as an investor is 100% bonus depreciation, meaning your $100,000 investment, you probably end up with about $35,000 to $40,000 in paper loss. Now, this is $40,000 in tax savings that are going back to you. These tax savings you could apply to any passive income if you're a busy professional, or to active income if if you qualify as a real estate professional. Now, these tax savings are not even factored into your returns, but that is money back to your pocket. These are some of the things that when we learned, we knew we had to do whatever is necessary to present these kind of opportunities to our community. How many investments opportunities do you know that you could make money and still save in taxes? This is one of them. So out of request to our investors, we simplified our investment and was able to give like 3 classes of investing, where you get to choose which one you want depending on what your investment goals are. Are you someone who prioritizes cash flow? Then class A is for you. You invest $100,000 minimum, you get 10% cash flow every year. No profit share, no appreciation at the end. So, but the great thing is like you occupy a higher position in the capital stack. So when the cash flow comes, you get your money first. You are somebody that's looking for appreciation, being in long-term wealth. Class B or class C is for you. For my busy profession, I really like the class B or class C. And I recommend like the professionals I talk to all the time, I recommend for this particular deal, you want to come in if you can afford it, if you can afford it, come in at 100,000 or more, because this is one of the best assets that we've had. From the safety point of that, it provides stability and then has this great opportunity for growth. But with a class B, minimum investment is 50,000 and you get a 6% preferred rate of return, which means that from the cash flow, you are entitled to 6% before we can get any kind of returns ourselves. And then at the end, at the appreciation, you get 80% from the profits, we get 20% until we hit a certain return metric. Class C, this is for like our reserve class investors. And I am so grateful, right, and humbled by the number of Class C investors that we've gotten on this deal, which just shows the amount of growth that we've had as a company by giving this value. And a lot of them are people that have invested in our previous deals that have come in confident, know our track record, and are investing $750,000 or more on this deal. And because you're investing that much money, you get a higher preferred return and you get a higher return on the profit split. So the common question I have from investors is like, okay, this is so good. Like, so how do you guys get paid? Well, let me explain. This is how we get paid as a company. The split that you have 80-20 on profits, you get 80-20 split until you hit a certain return metric. So we are projecting for you that class B that you're going to get a return of 15.5% For Class C, we're projecting that you're going to get 18%. When you hit, as a Class B investor, when you hit a return of 18% average annual return, which is higher than what your return projection is, the rest of the profits now get split 50-50. So that means at the end, when we exit the deal, you've received your initial capital back. We're splitting the profits. You've hit 15%, 15.5% average annual return every year. Still 80-20. You hit 18% average annual return every single year. Then now the balance of those profits get split 50-50, because that incentivizes us as operators to outperform our projections. That is how we get paid. So we take all of the risk up front, right? And so that we could benefit in the back end. So that is how we get paid. And that is why we are very, very judicious on the kind of properties that we bring under contract. Because, guys, the amount of work it takes to find these assets, the amount of effort it takes to break into some of this network and these circles to find assets like this, we have to be careful with the kind of assets that we bring to our community, because this particular property, it took us underwriting 2,325 deals before we could find this one under contract. And here's one of the reasons why. We are assuming an existing loan on this property with an interest rate of 4.74%. Tell me anywhere you can go and find that interest rate today. It doesn't exist. And this interest rate is fixed for the duration of our business plan. If you're hearing about the distress in the multifamily market right now, it is primarily due to this problem, interest rates, because a lot of operators bought deals with variable rate loans, and those rates skyrocketed when the Fed went on an interest rate raising spree. So those deals now, is hard for the operators to service the debt, and they're getting sold at a discount, which has put more pressure on the prices in the market, and every other property has decreased in price. But we were able to find an asset that has an existing loan that is stable, a loan that we are assuming, right? That we're assuming at a 4.74%. So eliminating any debt risk on this property. So that, guys, is an example of a great investment opportunity. And just to reiterate the fact, we are buying a property in a school district that is rated one of the top school districts in the state of Georgia. Elementary school rated at 8 on 10, middle school rated at 7 on 10, and some sources have it at 8 on 10, and the other numbers are 9 on 10. And Parkview High School is rated anywhere from 8 to 9 on 10. Awasom Data Solutions did a study of 20,000 zip codes across the U.S., and they found that zip codes that have top school districts experience a 33% increase in appreciation of properties than other zip codes. And it's not just Awasom Data Solutions that says it. Zillow did their own market research. Same thing. Properties that are in high school district have a lower vacancy rate than properties in other areas. CBRE, same thing. Properties in areas that have good schools have greater stability. And you guys have seen it. If you are parents, you have kids, you know it. You look for areas where there are good schools, because that is very important. As a matter of fact, our other property, the commonality between our property at the View at St. Andrews and this property is the school district. The View at St. Andrews had one of the best school districts in Columbia, South Carolina, and that was one of our motivations for buying it. These assets stay occupied with good quality tenants that do not want to lose their apartments, because if they lose it, their kids will not have a good place to go to school. So that is the strength of this asset, and which is evidenced by data, historical data of 95% occupancy over the last 10 years. And in that same period of time, increase in rent, significant rent growth. So our team here at Excite Capital, you met my partners, Dr. Oni and I, and our entire team of employees who are not on this slide. But in addition to that, we are partnering with Chris Lento and Brad Canjamila. I mentioned to you guys about the early part of our journey in 2019 when we went to multifamily conferences and discovered this asset class, and seeing that we were misrepresented and decided to take on the plunge. In one of those conferences, we met Chris Lento and Brad Canjamila. We've been friends with them ever since, and we've partnered with them on like 4 different assets right now. And this is going to be our 5th acquisition together. In the middle, we have Dr. Nkem Ezemama, somebody that we're very, very proud of and grateful that she's joining us as one of the owners of this asset. Dr. Nkem Ezemama is a mentee of Excite Capital. We met her in 2022 at a physician conference. She saw what we were doing and understood the mission that we are on to provide access to busy professionals to these institutional grade assets. She challenged herself to get on that mission, and she's just amazing. If you don't know her yet, look up the name on LinkedIn. Please follow her. You're gonna learn a lot from her. She is like outshining and doing some amazing things, and we're grateful to have her on this ownership group. In addition to that, our property management company is Asset Living. They have over 38 years of experience in property management and manage about 285,000 units right now. We use them across 3 of our assets and they do an amazing job. We have a really good working relationship with them. And so I'm sure you've heard about the amazing opportunity, and I know you're just ready to jump in. So I'm going to have my team just drop a link up for everybody that's ready. You can go in the portal right now, create an account in a secure portal so you can continue your due diligence process. This is where you're going to go in and download our all of our subscription documents. That's the legal documents to review with your own special advisor or review yourself. And once you're satisfied, you can go through it, sign the subscription documents, wire your funds, sit back and enjoy your returns. And there are 2 easy, simple ways to invest. You could invest using cash, that is cash that you have sitting in a savings and losing in value, or you could use a self-directed IRA. That's right, guys. If you have an 401k plan somewhere just catching dust right now, you could unlock that 401k plan and create double-digit returns by rolling it over to a self-directed IRA. With a self-directed IRA, you could invest in real estate. And if you have one of those plans and you want to learn more, let us know. Let a member of my team know. We'll walk you through. Maybe introduce you to one of our custodians that does self-directed IRA, and they'll get an account set up for you, and you can use that to invest as well. So again, the timeline for this deal closing is January 31st. We are at the final walking point. As a matter of fact, the whole day today, I've been on calls with the lender, like going back and forth and calls with the lender, finalizing the loan assumption, the loan reassumption process. So we are right on track to close at the end of this month. And the window is closing right now. As of right now, we are about 90% committed on this deal. The deal has received a significant amount of interest over the last 2 months. So, but the raise, $22 million, is a big raise, and we are super proud, super grateful, and cannot wait to take over this asset. We're super grateful to all of you who have made the commitment and joined the ownership group of Growth Parkview. This is the best asset that we've had on the contract so far. And we are so passionate about pushing and getting a lot of our own busy professionals as owners of this deal. We've been approached by so many institutional investors, but we'd rather have more of our own busy professionals owning a piece of this legacy asset. And as an investor at Excite Capital, you do not just only get access to the asset and create passive income and save on taxes. You also get access to our learning community, the Beyond 9 to 5 Club. This is where we continue on that mission of creating generational wealth through knowledge. We share a lot of knowledge related to investing, personal development, anything that you need in order to continue to grow. So that's something that we're passionate about. And as an investor, you get exclusive access to this community. It's a paid community, but you get free access to it as an investor for the lifetime of your investment. And so we've gone through everything. If you have some questions, drop them in the chat. So go ahead, use the link that is popping up, jump in the portal, review the material. If you need any questions, the whole team is here to answer the questions that you have. Reserve your position. We have just a few spots left for this amazing asset. So if you're looking to create passive income with an institutional grade asset, jump in and get the subscription process started. So take the first step to your financial freedom by joining the ownership group of Grove Parkview. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap it up right there and open it up for questions. Tenny, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said, what an amazing job, Les. Again, guys, thank you so much for staying through the presentation. Questions, please drop it in the chat and let's start addressing those. So Bisrat is asking, may I ask why the property is on sale now?
So the owners of the property, they've owned this property now for about 7 years. They're diversifying out of the Atlanta market and focusing in the Georgia market, and they're moving into newer development. This was actually their very first investment, their very last investment in the state of Georgia, and they held on to this asset for so long. But because all of their operations are in Nashville, this asset presents like an outlier to them, so they had to sell it, and they made their money too on this deal, and they're exiting at this moment.
Yeah, they've made a lot of money, and the way this business work, every 3 to 7 years, folks come in, buy the properties, they come in, add value to it, and then they exit. The next person come picks it up, and they do the same thing, moving to the next person. So that's how multifamily real estate actually trade hands.
Somebody has said,
and then
the
Levita is
slide.
asking, where's the link? That's what did you say?
I said the link should come up as a pop-up.
I'm going to be sharing the link in just under a minute. We're just having some technical issues, so just give us 30 seconds.
You're welcome. Please continue to drop your questions in the chat. And then someone said that the slide was not clearly displayed. We're going to potentially send you that slide, Ayano Lua. We'll share the slides with you again so that you have access to it. Or why don't you? Or you can reach out to one of our team members and then we can set up a call to actually walk you through it again if that is okay with you.
All right, guys, this is your opportunity to jump in on a great institutional grade asset. So, like I said, the spots are filling up fast. Get in, secure your position, and join the ownership group.
Absolutely. Hey, Levita,
Right, I think
the stuff has been dropped on the chat right now to get there. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to any one of us. Is there another question? You're welcome.
All right, guys, if we do not have any more questions, I will wrap it up here in a few minutes. But I welcome you all to the ownership group of Grove Parkview. And if you're on this call, you live in the Atlanta market, and you like to take a look at this property, let us know. One of the things that we truly push and encourage our investors is like, you need to come take a look at your investments, look at the properties that you invested in. We're going to be doing a lot more property tours in 2025 because we want our investors to see, touch, and feel the assets that they invested in. Take a tour around and see the value that you're providing, because this is really amazing stuff. And please, if you want to visit, bring your kids, bring your family, so they get to see that this too is possible for them, because that is what this is truly about. That is the mission that we are here to create for Excite Capital.
Absolutely. Yeah, the chat is busy, so yeah, please keep dropping your question in there, I will try to address them. Leslie, based on the information you shared about the development in terms of AWS, that means Amazon, and all the jobs coming there, how do you see that influencing the property in terms of the performance?
You know, in real estate investing, they say the three most important factors of real estate investing is location, location, location. In
Right.
multifamily investing, three most important factors are jobs, jobs, jobs. Right?
Mm.
You want to invest where the jobs are going. That's just a secret because people need the jobs in order to be able to pay rent. So when you start seeing a market where there's a lot of development that is being encouraged, some of the things that you know is that it's a business friendly state, number one, right? So a lot of developments, a lot of businesses are moving into that area. So that means
Right.
jobs are going into that area. So people
Right.
will go where the jobs are. So people move for jobs so they could create income and be able to provide for their families. So these two developments and more that will come, that I know that will come in the next few months and the next few years, will significantly impact the state of Georgia and especially this property where it's located. Gwinnett County is growing like crazy. If you go on Google and you just do a quick Google search, population growth Gwinnett County, you will see the graph is like this steep. You could do that same search with any other county or any other city, and you would see that there are very few that have that kind of growth trajectory. And Gwinnett County is one of them because it's a highly desirable, has really good schools, and the county is very, very restrictive about building permits, about the allocation of building permits. So you're talking about high demand, but very, very limited supply in the years to come.
Got you. That's very important to state so that people understand the dynamics when it comes to investing, where it's not just, oh, the property is there, let me just go invest in it. Because the way we make money in these assets is through tenants. Tenants are on the property, and they have good paying jobs. A lot of them we pay their rent, and if they pay their rent, you as an investor, you do good. And our proposition here at Excite Capital is the tenant will take care of the tenants very well. The tenant take care of you, our investors, and then we take care of ourselves. Because if there's no tenant that's paying, we will not be able to produce those returns that we're projecting to you. And once we do that, we produce those returns to you guys. That's what Leslie was saying earlier. In our business, we get compensated when you, the investor, do great. So, like Leslie said, the spot are filling up. We're closing this deal by the end of the month. If you know you want to change your life in 2025, this is the time. Get involved in Grove Parkview. This is an institutional grade asset that's not readily available to the public, but we're bringing it to you today. So grab your spot. If you have questions, please reach out to any of our team members. We're ready to answer any questions you might have.
Alicia just dropped our fantastic investor relations specialist. Alicia Galloway just dropped a meeting link in the chat. Please book a call with Alicia. She'll be ready to answer any questions you have. She'll walk you through the subscription process. We want to offer you a concierge service as much as possible. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome your feedback as well. Excite Capital, the Excite community is your community. We are building this community for you. We are getting these assets for you to invest in. So this is your community. We welcome your feedback. Anyways, we could do to continue to provide value to you or to improve the value that I provide to you, we welcome it. Again, this is going to be a big year. 2025 is going to be a great year for Excite Capital for all of us here, and so you are a great part of that. And that starts with investing in Grove Parkview and taking this and then more other investments that are coming up in the future.
Absolutely. You're welcome, Levita. We look forward to having you join this the ownership group of this deal. If there's no more question, we're going to wrap it up, Les.
Yes, we'll wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for joining the call tonight. Special gratitude to our entire team at Excite Capital. All right, that is Yvonne, Nizenia, Fela, Ajikobi, Christianus Dorotoye, Alicia Galloway, Miles Hill, Money Mike Dawson, our amazing Chief Growth Officer, Tenny Tolofari, our amazing Director of Marketing, and the magician himself, Mr. Adi Agawal, our newest social media, Jaysil. I just want to express my sincere gratitude to our entire team at Excite Capital for all the hard work that we've been putting in towards this asset over the last few months. Like I explained to you, ladies and gentlemen, securing an asset like this takes a huge amount of work. And there's no way we would have done it without the team that we have surrounding us that is here to serve you as well. And there's absolutely no way we would have done it without you, our investors, joining us on this. So I just want to say thank you to our investors that have already joined this ownership group. And I want to say thank you to everybody that joined the call this evening. Thank you for taking the time and thank you for giving us your attention. You all have a fantastic evening. Adi, I'm gonna have you. Let's get the jamming going as we wrap up.
Wake up early, catch the morning train. Same routine playing like a broken refrain. Monday to Friday, clock just ticks away. Years are passing while my dreams fade away. 9 to 5, eating up my life. 9 to 5, cutting like a knife. But I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. Started learning, staying after hours, becoming wise, gaining hidden powers. Every meeting became my classroom, yeah. Every challenge showed me who I am. Took the system that held me down, flipped it over, now I wear the crown. Experience became my greatest tool. Now I'm teaching others all these rules. 9 to 5, transform my life. 9 to 5, cutting like a knife. But I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. 9 to 5, eating up my life. 9 to 5, cutting like a knife. But I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. Started learning, staying after hours, becoming wise, gaining hidden powers. But I refuse to let it be my story. I'm turning pain into glory. Started learning to glory. Started learning to glory. Started learning to glory. Started learning, stay learning, it came my time. Me down the down, leaving it behind. I'm 9 to 5. Beyond, beyond, beyond the grind. Beyond, beyond, leaving it behind. But I'm 9 to 5.